So hello and welcome to Airfield Mixologist. In this episode what I'm going to be doing, I'm working on this list 1850 Holley vacuum secondaries, and I'm going to show you everything that's wrong with it and how I started fixing it. Obviously I bought this unit at a very cheap price and there were reasons why this was very cheap. So I'm going to show you all of the reasons. So let's start with the base. It's a good place to start. Now, the screw that held this particular throttle plate, basically someone tried to unscrew it without first removing the crimping from this side. And what that does generally is that it takes off the crown of the screw and leaves the screw inside. So I just had to drill it out with a pillar drill, but that was relatively okay. That was a defect it had. But however, the rest of the base plate is in relatively good condition. One of the things that you always need to look out with Holley base plates is obviously that there is a smooth, throttle action in the primary, and that the secondary also is quite smooth. It's not binding anywhere, and the other couple of things is that I've put a Loctite 270 in this to fix the throttle screws, and then always put some sort of R pin, or you can put a split pin here for the linkage between the primary and the secondary. And generally once you build the unit, what you do is you ballpark set the curb idle to just when it stops contacting to half a turn or 3/4 turn thereabouts, or maybe a full turn. So let's just do a full turn. Again, this is something completely ballpark, but it's useful. It's useful to just leave it there, ballpark done. So this was this side. Then the fuel bowls, they were actually in very decent shape. I had to kind of change the needle and seat assemblies, as you do. You always, in order to set the fuel level for the fuel bowls, what you need to do is you need to always make sure that you've got this bit is parallel to the top of the bowl, and that's how you adjust it. On this ones you can adjust it a bit more by bending this tab here. That's one of the things you can do. And also you never have to forget to put the spring that lives underneath here, because if not, the accelerator pump hasn't got a return. So those are the kind of important things about the fuel bolts, but they were actually in reasonably good shape, really good nick, no dramas there. Where we do have a bit of a problem is in the port for the vacuum secondaries, and I'll show you very quickly how you test on this. So you put it down, put your finger there so that no air comes through, and nothing, basically nothing. So let me show you how this looks on one that does work. There you go. Okay, so obviously this is faulty. We're going to change it with this. Then the metering block actually was in reasonably good condition, just needed a bit of ultrasonic cleaning, a bit of blasting, and that's it. Couple of things to watch out on this unit is I always put the idle mixture screws all the way in and then 1.5 turns out on both sides. And also it's quite important when you're putting the power valve that it sits flush, the gasket to the power valve sits flush with the body. That's very important, because if not you can get it not running very well. But let's say this unit it was in quite good condition. And now let's come to the relatively biggish thing that I need to do. As you can see, somebody tried to take off the choke tower. A couple of problems with this. First of all, it's not a very tidy job, in the sense that it's here. The slopes are different, and also it's missing a key component, which is this vent. So it has to have some sort of vent, because if it doesn't have a vent, you risk, when the engine goes like this, you risk fuel coming out of it. That's a fire hazard. So now what I need to do is I need to start tidying this thing up, and maybe trying to fix this vent and this vent as well, so that it's, you know, safe to run. Okay, so now we've got the unit in its full build state. So obviously I need to show you what I did here. That I tried to create like a smooth surface, preserving the air filter inlet, and also I created this, which this is essentially the needle and seat assembly from an Edinburgh Carb that I created a screw, and I screwed it in here. And this was so to give it just that little bit of extra height that you need, just so that if the carb were to flood, it would kind of fail safe in a sense, so to prevent fires from people in their cars. One of the things about cutting this, I started off with one of these Dremel things. Didn't work, so I had to kind of go large, and I have to fire one of these units instead. So when you're cutting, probably start marking it and then go with the angle grinder. And another thing that you always have to do is you always have to ensure that there is a smooth surface here, so that your fingers, let's say there is no sharp edges here, and that's exactly what I've done. So, and the other thing I've done is I've added a new kind of banjo style fuel inlet, because it didn't have any. So now this carb is actually ready to go. So it's much tidier now that this choke tower has been completely milled off, and it's ready for someone to kind of use and enjoy out there. So I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and because I appreciate very, very much you watching up to here, now I'm going to show you a very sneak peek of what the next video is going to be. So hang around for a minute and I'll show you. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.